huge show today. We're doing it live from probably the most spectacular, unexpected venue that we've ever hosted a podcast from. We're at Cypress Point in Monterey. We're talking with a different tone. We've got great interviews from the USGA. We're discussing Scottie's presser, Rory's presser, Grant Horvat breaking a golf news record, perhaps, deciding not to play in a PGA Tour event. All that is brought to you by Chevy and the Equinox EV, which is going to help you show up in style. It's got the massive 17-inch diagonal center screen. Iconic venue for a show today, Jeff.
Iconic. Yeah, we took the Chevy all the way from San Francisco down to Monterey.
That's a nice drive.
Beautiful drive out here in California.
Beautiful.
I had to stop and use the restroom. We had too
A lot
much
of
dairy.
ice cream, little dairy for you guys.
Yep,
Mhm.
too much dairy. It was a emergency stop. Like,
Mhm.
pull over this exit. We're going into a restaurant.
We talked about that earlier. Actually, I've been trying to cut back on dairy for that reason.
Yeah, it's bad.
At one point in the back seat of this beautiful Chevy, he went quiet, and Brendan and I were like, "What's going on back there?"
Something's wrong. Something's wrong.
But yeah, just insane that we're here. We're looking at the 16th hole. We're looking
Literally looking at it.
an outrageous golf course. We're gonna get into the fact that I don't know if I'm gonna be able to swing today, so there's a lot that's gonna be coming at you here on the podcast. But it's all brought to you by Chevy.
All of it's brought to you by Chevy, and the Equinox EV offers 319 miles of EPA estimated electric range with front-wheel drive. When it comes to EVs, the Chevy Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make.
I guess
Where
so.
do you think we are physically right now at the Cypress Clubhouse? Are we above like a bunch of important people right now?
I hear a
They're-
conversation. You
they're
hear that chatter going on?
congregating for this. Like, I saw like the chairman of the whole place was here. He had a nice jacket on that looks like Augusta, but it's dark navy. Got the Cypress logo on it. He was what I think was right below us.
Wow.
I mean, listen, the chances of us getting out of here unscathed and like unbanned
I know.
is really low.
I know, it's just something I had to bring up.
No, you're
'Cause
right.
I think we're probably echoing. We're at the highest point.
We could be
on a-
being heard.
100.
We're being
Bro, you
eavesdropped
know when
upon.
we're like at
Wouldn't be
when we're
surprised
at
if the first
Pebble?
tee was like right
Remember when
here.
I think it is, dude.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. Folks, we are back for a very big show. There's a lot going on in the golf world. It's Open Championship week. So obviously people are focused on Port Rush, what's going on. By the time this show comes out, they'll be like halfway through the first round at Royal Port Rush. So extremely fired up for that. We're going to get into a lot of the storylines there. However, you can probably tell from my tone, a little bit of a different situation. We are sitting
Yeah.
in quite the fine room here at Cypress Point, on, Monterey, California. We touched on it last show a little bit. We're now here. We haven't played our round yet. We have the second half of the show. We've got Ben Kimball and Nathan Smith. Ben Kimball is kind of the championship, guru when it comes to the U.S. Amateur and the Walker Cup. He's the inside the ropes guy. He'll be setting it up, course conditions. He's been at the USGA for a very long time. So we get into everything about Cypress, about them bringing the Walker Cup back to Cypress. I believe it was here in 1981. Other than that, there's really been nothing here outside of just spectacular recreational play on a day in, day out basis. And then the U.S. Amateur at Olympic Club, which is coming up next month, which he's also got the same role for that. So we talk a lot about Olympic Club. Colt Knost won there, which, we get into. And so we talk a lot of what the USGA does, a lot of the championships that you don't really necessarily think about, know about, focus on, that these guys spend their entire kind of professional lives focusing on. The second half of the show is all about that, but we are sitting in this very fine room here at Cypress right now.
Extremely elegant room.
Yes.
Unbelievable. What very more reserved of a place than I thought it would be. Like, not like there's no check-in, like
None.
like for the car or anything.
How about that sign when you come in?
Insane. Cypress Point.
I said the same thing to Riggs. I was like, they obviously do it on purpose, where it's just sort of like, oh, there's Cypress, and you're
Yeah.
there. It's there. There's nothing grand. There's nothing. They don't have to be.
Nope.
The drive today, going past Pebble Beach and knowing you're playing a better golf course, or like more world renowned golf course, is psychotic to me. Like I was looking down there, looking like at, you could see 17, like the route that my guy took. You just drove right by Pebble.
Like you're passing Eisenhower Blue.
Crazy. Right?
Well,
Like, I
I'm
mean,
not
that's my
saying that.
number one
never go
ever.
over there.
Like, seeing Pebbles like brings a
Same.
tear to my eye, and we're like at a place that is ranked higher.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
We just scooted right by it.
Yeah, no, we're lucky to be here for sure.
So we're in the clubhouse right now, like we mentioned, and the USGA's done just kind of a unbelievable job and invite this week for us. We had the same experience yesterday at Olympic, which the video is going to be awesome, playing incredibly difficult, which we get into a lot with Ben in the second half of the show. But we are about an hour and a half away from teeing it up at Cypress, maybe 2 hours away for the first time. And we've got a close battle going on between the three of us. We got quite the prize, and we're about to get out there and hit our tee shots. Did you get to see the first tee yet, Frankie?
No. Is it right here?
I mean, it's right there.
Where are we teeing off of first?
We are not
We gotta
sure.
figure
It's
that
a shotgun start.
Okay.
So we don't 100% know that yet. I believe it'll be somewhere on the front nine.
Imagine they just put us on like 16.
I said the same thing, but he was saying that they're not doing that. They're keeping people kind of towards
Okay.
the front.
I want people to know, as you're hearing my voice, I'm looking at the 16th green at Cypress Point right now. I'm watching birds fly by,
Oh,
and it just looks.
I just got my eyes on it.
I would like to get a little peek inside the brain of Frankie Borelli right now, because we've been getting updates all
Yeah.
morning. And later in the show, it'll be me and Riggs talking to the gentleman, because I believe you had a chiropractor's appointment.
Yeah, I've had my ups and downs on this podcast. This is probably as down as I've ever been. I mean, obviously I was down when like my dad had heart surgery. I thought I was going to die, but like there's a lot of things that are going through my mind right now of just like, why is this happening to me? And I know why it's happening to me, because we're not supposed to be here. So it's like God's like putting me down a peg a little bit.
Mm.
But I woke yesterday when we were playing Olympic. We had a pretty brutal flight out here, and like we always complain about flights, and it's probably getting nauseating to people.
Okay, I
listen to,
complain
but
a lot about flights
like,
too. So
Brendan and I were in JFK, and we sat on the runway for 3 hours, and the pilot said, we're 10 minutes away from legally having to bring you guys back to the gate. We can't keep you on the runway for more than 3 hours. We had just hit 3. He's like, we're going to find out in 10 more minutes. The next update, they're like, we're going to hit the air. We're ready to rock. There was crazy flooding happening in Jersey.
Oh,
and New
yeah. I don't
York.
know if people have
Biblical.
seen NYC,
That's awesome.
Jersey, that whole area got like the worst
Yeah, the
storm
flash flooding's
in
getting
like
crazy.
300 years.
So like somehow we made it out. So then you sit on the whatever. It was like 9 hours of being on a plane because we flew out to San Francisco. So I felt a little stiff. Played Olympic Club yesterday. Felt good. Felt great on the range playing. Halfway through the round, starts to just feel a little tense. You start to do that like golf club on the back thing. I always have this upper back like right where it was a C7, whatever they call it. I've gotten scans. I've gotten MRIs. There is something wrong there. There's like a little bulging disc and there's like a nerve pinched, but like you just get through it. Like I play golf all the time, almost every day. And like I just get through it. It doesn't hurt like from day to day. I play Colonial Springs, never hurt all year. Woke up this morning, or I tried to go to bed last night, and it felt like I was in a fucking coma. I could not move my body. Couldn't look left, couldn't look right. If I laid on my back, it hurt. If I laid on my side, it killed. Nauseating. Like I was like sitting over the toilet, like trying not to puke. That's how much my back hurt. I'm like, what's happening to me? I'm an active 31-year-old person. How is this happening to me? Why am I like breaking down? Then I looked around, found a chiropractor. She got me in at like 9:15. Missed the interview with you guys. I'm just like, she helped me. I mean, she cracked my back, but like she didn't. I mean,
The whole time when you're in your hotel room, you got to be thinking, I'm playing Cypress Point.
yeah,
tomorrow.
that's the biggest thing. That's why I'm so down. Like, of course, like you don't want back pain, but like, why today, dude? Like,
of all days.
like why today? Like, why do I not feel unbelievable today?
Right.
You know, like just like go after it. All-time golf course. And yeah, I mean, it definitely. I'm sure people are happy to hear that I'm feeling. You know,
I'm sure. I mean,
'cause, like, we're not supposed to be here, so like I should not enjoy my time.
Well,
I
I'm glad
totally
that
agree.
the golf gods took it out on you. And
Yeah.
not
Me
on,
too.
you know, like
Who knows? Maybe I swing like super soft and it's something. I don't know. I'm gonna
Beware
take
the
a
sick
nap.
golfer.
You were saying like I gotta stop swinging so hard.
I got to
Well,
stop
maybe this
swinging
is-
hard.
It's just the nature's they're
I just
helping
you
you out.
know,
Could be it.
Yeah,
Today
it's
might
one
be
of
your
those things.
special day.
I was walking around Monterey like Mantis, and like shout out to Mantis. He's like the wettest guy in the Western Hemisphere, Eastern Hemisphere, all the hemispheres.
All of them.
All of them. Wettest jumper you'll ever find. But like I was literally walking around with like my knees leading. Like
Yeah.
I'm walking around like this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a really bad spot.
Like
to be
that's
on
how
a
I'm
really
walking
bad
right now.
day.
Like that's how I'm walking right now.
Bad
Mm.
spot to be.
So it is what it is.
But
But we
Lurch
are.
here to carry you around.
I know. But you know, I asked Brendan if like he would play for me. That's how bad it was this morning.
Wow.
And then like he's a righty, so I was like thinking like Jared would play for me. 'cause he's
Yeah.
a lefty. So like that is still on the table.
Look at Jared's
Like,
going
I'm
to
gonna
come
take a
crack
couple-
you in the back.
I'm gonna take a couple swings and like see how it is. I genuinely don't know if I can swing a club right now.
Would
So-
you then be the camera guy?
I would hold the camera, yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that'd be crazy.
I mean, it would
Jared
hurt
is
me.
gonna-
I just
Jared
don't
is
want to
gonna drop
ruin.
kick you out
I don't
of
want
this
to
room.
ruin like. There's a part of
Crowbar
like
to
not
that.
wanting to like ruin your experience here. It's like almost disrespectful to play this course and like not be able to swing the golf
Or
club.
it's your 2008 U.S. Open.
We'll see. Yeah, no, and I don't want it to be like an excuse. So it's like I don't know what to do. It's hard. It sucks.
No, I feel for you.
Back pain sucks.
I think the no
Really bad.
sleep thing might be the worst part.
Yeah. I got dressed at 4:15 in the
You
morning.
texted me that this morning. Like, I've been dressed since 4:30.
I just like needed to like get out of
Oh, wait, it's
bed,
like
and
10 a.m.
I was
right
so nauseous. I like needed to just like walk around the room, and my room is so small I couldn't really do any walking around. So, but we are at Cypress Point. I mean, I'm complaining for the first 10 minutes of this show. This is the craziest thing that's ever happened to us. So, it's just that's why I'm so down.
I get you.
I
I
understand.
want to be like teary eyed because of how like excited I am and how incredible this is. I'm like teary eyed because I'm like holding back pain.
No,
It's a
I
shit spot.
I remember last year for the Pioneers US Open, I had a bunch of my family and friends come and stay at the house. And I remember my good friend JR, right when they got there, was like deathly sick for like the first 2 or 3 days. And this reminds me of that, where he was trying to muster up and be positive and get involved and maybe have a drink with us on the patio and whatnot. And he just was like, I just need to go upstairs and go to bed. I feel horrible.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
a bad
eventually for
spot.
the weekend, he was good. But it reminds me of. So anyways, we're hoping
We'll battle through.
hoping that you battle through it.
Or Jared will.
Jared, come on, man.
Opportunity of a lifetime dangling right in
I
front of
know.
Jared.
He
know.
called that chiropractor and was like, you do whatever you can to make that work.
How about my chiropractor's from Long Island? So weird. Monterey. We're in Monterey.
Yeah, that's very random.
So weird.
Yeah. Anyways, you'll see all the video footage from Olympic, from Cypress. Hopefully Frankie is in that video and feeling well when we play. Let's get to some storylines. We've got the Open Championship this week, Royal Port Rush. We can start with Scottie Scheffler. This video, a 5-minute answer that he gave when talking about golf and his life and his relationship to golf. I love Scottie. I think Scottie gives sneaky, insightful answers and always has for a number one player in the world who probably his biggest critique is that people call him like boring. But when you play such good golf like he does and you have such good family life balance and whatnot, it's probably a good thing for him to come off boring on the golf course. But this clip, I don't know if we want to put the whole thing in. I don't know exactly how
Put the
I wanna do it.
highlights
We'll
in.
figure
There's
that-
a couple good spots.
Put the highlights in.
You know, I think I said something after the Byron this year about like whole life to celebrate winning a tournament for like a few minutes. It only lasts a few minutes, that kind of euphoric feeling. And you win it, you celebrate, get to hug my family, my sister's there. It's such an amazing moment. And then it's like, okay, now what are we going to eat for dinner? It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of like the deepest, places of your heart. There's a lot of people that make it to what they thought was going to fulfill them in life, and then you get there and all of a sudden you get to number one in the world, and then they're like, what's the point? That's why I talk about families being my priority, because it really is. I'm blessed to be able to come out here and play golf, but if my golf ever started affecting my home life or it ever affected the relationship I have with my wife or with my son, that's going to be the last day that I play out here for a living. This is not the be-all, end-all. This is not the most important thing in my life, and that's why I wrestle with why is this so important to me, because I would much rather be a great father than I would be a great golfer. When I sit back at the end of the year and I kind of try to reflect on things, like having that sense of accomplishment from winning the Masters tournament, from winning the PGA Championship, I have a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for it. But it's just hard to explain how it just doesn't satisfy, is how I would describe it. It's an unsatisfying venture.
I don't know what your guys' thoughts on it were.
I like it. I like this side of Scottie. I think, sports fans generally, when you see somebody who achieves at a very high level and an almost unprecedented level, their quotes are to the effect of like, this consumes me. Everything consumes me. It's all I think about. I go to bed thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. I eat, drink, sleep, all of this stuff all the time, and I never turn it off. And Scottie, to a degree, is the complete other end of the spectrum with it, where he's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I'm living out my dreams. I play golf at a very high level. I've been very successful in the last couple of years, but that doesn't fulfill me. Like, I think if you talk about a guy like Michael Jordan, I think he's only fulfilled when he's holding a trophy and is the defending champ.
Think
and
of
no
that
one,
picture of him hugging and crying the trophy.
and I think his carries over to the rest of his life all of the time. Even now, he's Michael Jordan. His success defines him. That's how people view him, and that's how he feels about himself all the time. And I think it's interesting that a guy like Scottie does not feel that way. When he is successful, it only lasts for a couple of minutes, and then he feels like he goes back to regular life. And I love answers like this from Scottie just because it's different than almost every other sports superstar that you're going to come across.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I thought it was second by second compelling. Like you
Totally.
had to listen to what he was saying. And I laughed at, like, I think one of the top comments I saw was like, this is a man who just wins too much. It's kind of what it was. It was like,
He's getting bored with winning.
This guy's like, yeah, winning every week, it's really not as fulfilling as one might think. And you're like, well, I mean, you're just winning everything
Right.
all the time.
Like when rich people say money doesn't buy you happiness. And they
Yeah,
it's like a super poor person. You're like, I'd love to have some money.
I need just a little bit of that money. And I think I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of that winning, Scotty.
Yeah.
I would love to be bored with it. But yeah, that was kind of my takeaway too. And he also came off like a kind of a torn person on it. Like he was like, no, winning is awesome and I love the golf, but it's not as awesome maybe as I think in the moment. He was like almost wrestling with himself, which I think everybody kind of does to different parts of their life. So hearing like the number one player in the world do it was really interesting. And then contrasting that a little bit with like a lot of the Rory stuff that we've been, hearing and talking about for the last 10 weeks since he won the career Grand Slam, of him being like, yes, I achieved this amazing thing. Now I'm like wrestling with what's next. I got to try to be motivated to where it almost like it's, you can almost spin it as like a negative that like Rory won the.
Rory is an all-consume guy.
Yeah.
He is, I'm only happy, at least from my opinion and from what I see, he seems the happiest when he is on top, when he is winning, when he, those 10 years when he didn't win a major, he was obviously still very successful, but he wasn't doing the thing that was consuming him all the time.
Yeah.
And that was winning at a major championship level. And I just think that it takes all kinds, and Rory and Scottie are very different in that regard.
Yeah, and I was watching Rory's presser last night, and I always find it to be one of the most interesting press conferences in sports. No matter what, you just never know what you're going to get from him. He's always like thoughtful, it feels like, which is why when he wasn't doing media, I think it was such a big deal. But he was talking about his relationship with Shane Lowry, and he was saying like the biggest thing that Shane really taught me over the last few years is like he does such a good job of not bringing golf home, and he was like, and that's so hard for me. And he did acknowledge, he said something like the phrasing, he was like, he's like, I do understand like Shane and I are in a little bit different position, which made me laugh. And being like, well, yeah, you're Rory McIlroy, he's like Shane Lowry,
right? Which
was funny. But he was like, so it's obviously probably a little bit harder for me in general. He was like, but that's a really hard thing. So he was admitting exactly what you're saying, which he was like, my golf was all consuming and it was affecting my life at home, my life everywhere. It's like if golf wasn't going well, my whole life wasn't going well. And he was like, I noticed Shane would be like, he's like, he has a couple daughters, I have a daughter, so like the more we would spend time together, he's like, I could notice like Shane would be so frustrated on the golf course, and I'd be like, man, the poor guy, whatever. And he's like, we would get home and then go over there for a family dinner or something, and he would be a totally different person and be happy and playing with his daughters and fully engaged and present. And Rory was like, I learned a lot from that. So it was very interesting to then see with Scottie, like these guys are wrestling with, and Scottie had a great line where he was like, I would way first be a great father and husband than I would want to be a great golfer, and I think most people on the surface would say that in a press conference, but to like truly mean it in your core of like, I think a lot of people might think of like, no, go like win that Masters. You can always be like a dad. You can always come back and be like a good fight, but it's like, no, you got to lock in and like go win those. And him being like, no, like that's the biggest thing in my life is being really good at that stuff. And then golf is not as fulfilling. It's another thing, which again, I think probably comes off pretty frustrating to like the 71st ranked player in the world. It's just like, you know what? Can I just win one tournament? That'd be sick.
I guess it does. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's the most unique take on being the best player that you could possibly find. Any sport, all the guys that don't get to that top all say that they just don't have what it takes that the top guys have, or they're able to, like you'll just get a basketball player that's like, I didn't have what Jordan had, the drive and that passion. Like I was really good at my sport, but I didn't have that extra gear. And like Scottie has that extra gear, but he thinks like a regular just athlete. Like he's a tier 1, but he thinks almost like a tier 4 that's just out there for a paycheck, but he wants to go back with his family. You know what I mean? Like that's all like a Kisner guy. He's like Kiz just like loves to just like live life. It's not necessarily like the only thing that drives him is like trying to win majors.
It's also a good lesson in maybe that achieving everything isn't the answer. Like a guy like Scottie has an interesting perspective where you would think like, oh, you do all these things and your life's perfect.
Yeah.
Where Scottie's saying, I've done all these things and my life doesn't feel perfect. Like these accomplishments on the golf course are not the things that are going to fulfill you. And I think that's super interesting.
Okay, folks, sorry to cut off that conversation. There's a lot happening today here at Cypress. It's Media Day, USGA. There's a lot moving, but bottom line, mid-conversation, we moved to an outdoor location.
Yeah.
Trent has a new piece of clothing on his person.
Only been 10 real minutes and a lot changed.
Yeah.
A ton
I
changed.
felt like I just started hearing doors opening.
Yes.
I felt like I was in a Jason Bourne movie where
Yeah.
it's like, now we just got to get out of this area now.
Like slowly creaking open.
That's exactly what it was.
I guess we were definitely talking about Scottie Scheffler.
and we were hitting something good with you on Scottie.
Well,
Scheffler.
yeah. So I wanted to say, this is kind of the way that I struggle with the viewing of life and accomplishments and happiness and all these things. When you're like a psychotic person like me and you're like really diving deep into every single situation and you're trying to figure out like what is the meaning of any of this? Like we're just floating on this rock and we're dropping bombs on people and killing people. It's like you don't understand. Like, why are we even like? First of all, why are we even here? What's our purpose here? Is it to go play Cypress and like hit a ball around? Is it like to build out a family? Like, is it to own a pizzeria? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is the actual point? That's like why we're doing this. It's like a bunch of guys figured out that like this little piece of green paper means something and like just rules our whole entire world.
Yeah.
And I think Scottie, on like a less psychotic level, thinks that same way of like, what are we actually like? None of this matters. Like, and that's weird to hear the best player in the world say that. But he's like, if I win this tournament, it doesn't actually matter to anyone, not you, not like nobody. It's meaningless.
Dude, I wanted to. I had a tweet reply, and then I just whatever got away from it. But I was gonna reply like, now Scottie, now imagine everything you just said, except your whole job in life is to talk about you guys playing golf,
Right? Exactly.
and doing that for
Right.
nothing. I was like, that's sort of where we're at. It is a great point. It's like if you really boil it down, it's what? It's technically to reproduce. It's pretty much
Right.
it, which you and Brendan are the only ones here that have
Yeah.
succeeded so far.
Yeah,
and
like
even then, it's like, well, why?
Like the primal, yeah, like us being like the actual human beings. There's no other reason to be here other than to reproduce.
Right.
If
It's like
you
to
think about
survive
it,
and
yeah.
reproduce.
Survive,
That's pretty
yeah.
much it.
But
And
we've advanced so much that we can now hit a little white ball around the greatest places on this planet.
yeah, no, it's a great perspective, and to hear him, like, clearly he's fighting with that on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis, and he can say all of that, yet there's still those clips from Oakmont of him on the range after every swing, looking at his coach, looking at his caddy, and being like, what is happening here? He's so frustrated because he cares so much about it, and yeah, I think everybody kind of wrestles with that on some level of like, what am I doing here? What is the point of all of this? No matter what you're doing, whether if you are a mega star like Scottie Scheffler and you're the best at like probably the most fun game to play professionally that there is, you're going to the most beautiful places, you're dominating people, you're a Masters champion, you have all of the perks. Or if you're working 2 jobs to pay rent and support, kids as a single mother, you're always like at any level kind of thinking like, what is the point of all this? Like, what am I doing? And yeah, to hear Scottie kind of talk about it is why press conferences are cool, to be honest with you. Like, it's why.
Yeah, it is true. It really
He's
gives
so good at them.
that gives a lot of credit for press conferences to exist for sure.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying they ever shouldn't, but like, a lot of guys go in there and it's like, what club are you going to hit on this? And it's like, oh my God, get me the fuck out of here. But then every once in a while, it's probably 3% of the time you get something where you're like, that was worth it.
Yeah. And it's funny. Like, I was thinking about it when I was watching the Rory press conference. I was like, press conferences from the interviewee's perspective are pretty ridiculous. Like, imagine if once a week the whole world got to just ask you about everything you did that week. And they're asking like, oh, Rory, you went back over to like the UK. Is that like a port you're trying to get out of America? That it'd be like if they're asking like, Riggs, why did you drunkenly tweet this? And then and you're just like, I don't know, man. I'm just living here.
Right.
At some
Whoa,
point.
why are you pressing me on this?
Yeah, that's like press conferences are crazy. That like every week when these guys are on tour, they got to stand up there and be asked about all kinds of stuff. I was thinking about it during Wimbledon when it was like Alcaraz and the one girl who like they're grilling her about her relationship with him all the time. I kept seeing that everywhere and being like, this is ridiculous. These people have to answer for this stuff.
I guess like the origin of press conferences would be society identifies something that they find is really interesting and they want to hear from the people who do it. And like, that's really it.
Also, it made more sense when there was less access to people. And It
Yeah.
was like the only time you heard from someone in like a year.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I'm sure like the media business of sports where it's like, all right, now I'm going to write a newspaper article about what that person said. Like, and we've just continued it regardless how media has changed.
Yeah. Right. And it is like they're treating these like, and again, I started this by saying this is why press conferences are great. They are great. And I'm glad we have them, and everybody can make the calculation in their own head of like, well, these guys get paid. There's all kinds of money being made because of all the media attention, which is given through press conferences and all that. I completely agree with. But it still, as I was watching, it was like, man, they're being treated at times like that's like they're political leaders making huge life and death decisions for millions of people. And at their core, they're up there being asked like, Rory, you decided to come over to the UK a couple weeks ago. Was that because, like, are you sick of America? Are you, like, does it feel good to be over? You know, and all these things where it's like, I don't know, I'm just a guy with a family that's playing golf and trying to win tournaments, but also trying to be a good dad. And so all of that I just found interesting. And so, again, to bring it all, like, full circle, to hear Scottie give that answer, I loved it because it was a guy that was like, it's almost like therapy. It's almost like they have public therapy. It's kind of
also
what it seems
unique
like.
to be such a family guy as Scottie and be like the top of your sport. That's not very common.
No.
I mean, Tiger Woods had his run-ins with just
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, and I mean, Michael
Allegedly,
Jordan
right.
had his run-ins with a lot of stuff, and
Well, that's what I was saying earlier, where it's like interesting that a guy who has this perspective has risen to such heights.
correct. Yeah, I mean, and I talked about on the podcast, like when we had Frankie, like something changed in me physically and mentally. I felt it. There was a change. There was a switch, and Scottie had that, I bet. And it like changed his perspective. Like this thing that he was pursuing his whole entire life has not changed. Even now, this is my first trip with you guys since we went. We went to Florida real quick, and then I've done a couple other things that have just been very fast trips. But like, kind of FaceTimes me, and like they're just like at the mall together, and it's just like I'm not there. And it's like there's something like in your brain that's like, why am I not there with with the family that like we created? You know what I mean? Like there's something biologically that like feels off.
Right.
So, and obviously
I
you
can
like power
imagine.
through it, but like, and everyone does it in the whole entire world. So you figure it out. But I bet that is probably what Scottie's really talking about, where he's like, and he says at one point, if it ever affects that, I'm done golfing, which is incredibly Scottie to say.
I'm sure it changed him, but I think he's had answers like this before his kid was born, where they would ask him like, what does it mean to win the Masters? And he's like, nothing. At the end of the day, we're all just gonna like disappear, and in 300 years, nobody's gonna even know who Scottie Scheffler was.
Jared Carabas a little bit.
Yeah, so he's an interesting guy for sure, and it's great. I really thought it was a really interesting answer.
So did I.
Do you think he goes home and is just like, I fucking love all this? Like it's all just a front. Like, it's just like him being like super humble. For
Maybe
the
if
media.
he could have to be the best actor in the world because it seemed genuine.
Yeah.
Because even when he was up there, he's like, I don't even know if this makes any sense.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we do that on this
I
podcast
felt like
a
I
lot.
was I felt like I was sitting at that freaking podium. Like, you guys understand anything I'm saying here?
Right, and you know it's going to go everywhere, and you're like, I don't even know if I believe what I just said.
No, it's like when we put out a quote of me saying, that conversation we had about the shots you have to hit on like a couple holes at Augusta.
Uh-huh.
Our title tweet was, is Augusta National similar to links golf? And every comment was like, dude,
came from our account.
our account.
Nobody buries us more than our own accounts.
The call is coming from
Someone
within the
wrote-
house.
One of the comments was, what?
But then if you watch
Every comment was like, no, one's in Georgia on the side of a hill, and the other one is literally a flat panned, like.
it also goes to show, and I'm victim of this too, or I do it myself, where I'll just read a caption, definitely won't watch the video,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, this person's an idiot.
Dude, I said, are some of the shots you have to hit? You got to get artistry. You got to get cute. You got to bump it in, bump and run. Like there was and obviously that could be a wrong take. I get that. I was just asking a question. That could be a wrong take. I never in a million years. I think even in the clip I go, don't ever misconstrue this. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Misconstrue this as me saying this course is similar. Don't ever.
Like, well, wait till you see this
Wait
caption,
until,
buddy
wait
boy.
until it gets into Rob White's hands.
Giant letters.
Is Augusta the same as St. Andrews?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yep. Yeah, I kind of fed you too. I was like,
Ooh.
Scottish architecture back in the day when
That
they
was a
built it.
great point. That's what I got the chills.
Yeah, no, that was, and I think that was a real conversation that you're just not allowed to have anymore on social media.
No.
That can't do it.
God, no.
Yeah, Scottie, great presser. And yeah, I like it's. We all like when the stars, the top players in the game, have more layers to them, and so when you do watch him play, I think that makes it more interesting. And what he's going to say is a lot more interesting when he's out there. So we've also had a couple more, like Rory said that he had this week circled on his calendar even more so than the Masters this year because home soil, Northern Ireland, He set the course record, I believe, when he was like 16 years old. I think he shot like 61 at Portrush. So he talks about how much it means. I believe that John Rahm said this is like the most meaningful golf tournament in the world that you could possibly mean is the Open Championship. I saw Robert McIntyre was saying this is the purest form of golf that they play. And so you're getting all those quotes, which you get a good amount of this during the Open Championship every year, but just kind of highlighting a few of those and then going into this week. It's going to be so much fun to watch. We're going to do, like we usually do, I believe, a Sunday night reaction to whatever we see, and then that'll come out either late Sunday night or early Monday morning, so it'll be a day earlier than usual. So fired up for the entire tournament. You know that moment, everyone, the one when you realize you left your favorite sunglasses maybe at the beach or on the roof of your car or on the boat or at a gas station 3 states away. Well, guess what? We've all been there as well. Then I found Shady Rays, and it changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life. Very, very good looking, polarized, durable, not stupidly expensive. And here is the wild part. If you lose or break your Shady Rays, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair, no guilt trip, just replacements. These are what I'm wearing in all the videos. I get a lot of messages. People are saying, what pair of sunglasses are you wearing? I've got like 10 different pair that I bought with Shady Rays.
Shout out to all the pairs. I've been wearing contact lenses more, just like when I'm hanging around. Because when it's great. And when it's sunny out,
slipping into contact.
Just kind of let me slip into something more comfortable here. And I wear sunglasses more, and you notice a difference not squinting all day.
Yeah.
It's a huge because when I wear just regular glasses, I just squint and I'm just like, this sucks. It takes away all of that stress, all
ease.
that. Dude, it's so nice.
Yeah, when I have
Easy
a pair
living.
of Shady Rays in my car and I hit the button, the things come down, I put them on, and if you forget to put them on before you start and you're on the road, you're already out there, you got the sun blaring down, once you put those on, it is that like ease of tension underneath your eyes. You're like, whoa, that feels right. It actually feels correct.
Yep, I agree with that. So we have teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer, by the way. So pay attention to this. Head to shadyrays.com. Use our code, which is FORE, F-O-R-E, for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That is shadyrays.com. The code is FORE for 35% off polarized sunglasses. The biggest names in golf are teeing it up across the pond to chase history at the game's original major, the Open Championship. Want to make cash while watching your favorite golfers? You can bet on the action at Royal Portrush with DraftKings Sportsbook from the opening round through the championship Sunday. DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. They've got live betting, player props, and so much more. I know the tournament's probably already kicked off because they're way ahead on time, but one of my favorite things to do, I've said this many times, look at that leaderboard on Friday night, gear up for the weekend, maybe find somebody 4 or 5 shots back. You got a little bit of a longer odds. Maybe they're 8-1, maybe they're 12-1, but you think they got the pedigree to come back and win. Point is, you can bet on a golfer to win, top 20, top 30, top 40. We did a top 20 parlay this week. DraftKings Sportsbook's the spot to do it.
It really is. Just get activated. You know, it makes the sports viewing that much more immersive. You really are engaged in so many different things that you would never ever be caring about, and it's just fun to have some action on it.
Here's something special for first timers, by the way. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code FORE. That is the code FORE, F-O-R-E, for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. I want to talk about Mr. Grant Horvat and his decision not to play in the Barracuda on the PGA Tour is everywhere.
Lit the internet on fire. I think at one point his name was trending and it said 100,000 tweets underneath it. Do you know how many tweets that has to be?
A lot.
Wow.
100,000.
Because the trending wouldn't even keep up. He was like number 6 and number 1 had like 12,000 tweets.
Yeah.
His said
Right,
like
the algorithm hadn't even put them up yet
No.
because there's so many. Yeah, that's like the big house tweeting.
It's
Every
crazy.
person in the big house around. That's how many people there. This just, I don't even know that he expected to make this much news, but, he put out a video. He's been he had kind of teased it for a couple months of like, I got this invite to play in the PGA Tour event. Should I do it or not? Which is genius engagement from the very beginning. Everybody weighing in on whether they think. Obviously, 95% of people being like, yes, of course you should play. I think he did the video with Scottie Scheffler that I watched where he was doing his 5 under challenge. And Scottie was like, I know people are going to chime in on like, hey, give it to somebody who's grinding and actually deserves it. And Scottie made the point of like, you realize you deserve it as much or more than anybody. He was like, you're having such an impact doing all these things in the game that like you being there is incredibly important for golf. So you should do it, all that. He decided not to do it, put out the video saying that the reason that he's not doing it is because based on TV deals and media rights, which is something we've harped on for the 9 years that we've been doing this, won't allow him to film. It will not allow him to film his play and his participation in the PGA Tour event. He can't have his own camera crew. He can't have his own footage. PGA Tour owns all that footage. Whoever the broadcasting partner is for that event owns all that footage, so he's not allowed to do it. That was his reasoning for saying no, and it's gotten scorching hot takes from every single side of the issue of people of now. I've seen people chirping him, being like, it's insane for you not to just play because obviously there's multi-million-dollar deals in every single sport. Why would you be able to do it? And then other folks chirping the tour, being like, how are they not coming up with some sort of caveat so that this guy can film? It's great for everybody and everything in between. So insane how big of a news story this became.
Yeah, I've been torn. I really have been torn. Natasha Bedingfield.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the car yesterday on the drive up that there's validity on both sides, and that's not great podcast fodder in terms of like,
No.
I have an opinion and I'm ready to die on it. But you look at it from both sides and you totally get it. Like Grant, if he can't do his own thing, the thing that has gotten him to the point where he is getting an invite from the PGA Tour, then if he just plays in the event, the PGA Tour is gaining everything. The PGA Tour wants the viewership that Grant has to then transfer over to the event. They want them to tune in and watch Grant play in this event.
Right.
Grant gets nothing out of that. And I understand there's people on the other side being like, why do you always have to get something out of it? But the PGA Tour is doing the same thing to him. So I understand why he's not doing it. I think that's sort of where I'm falling more. Now, when it makes this much wave and it makes this much noise, you're going to get the sports fan who is just like, hey, man, we just want to watch who everyone thinks is the best YouTube golfer that's not a pro golfer. We want to see how they would fare in a professional event. Why can't you just do that?
Mm-hmm.
And what Grant is thinking is, my fans are the reason that I got here. I don't want them to jump over to this event where they're not going to let me film, and my fans aren't going to be able to see the experience that they're used to seeing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, and I agree with that. I think that people do have to understand that this is Grant's career and job, and it's not to, like, I was thinking about it with Alistair when Alistair played in the PGA Tour event, and a couple times that he has been, had that chance, and we've talked about how you don't get Korn Ferry Tour points for playing in PGA Tour events. So ironically, it's Alistair's goal and job, professional career goal, job, all of that, to get to the PGA Tour and play in PGA Tour events. So playing in them and having the opportunity to and saying no is crazy. It is not Grant Horvat's job or career to be in PGA Tour events. It's his job to create content for his audience. And so outside of like self-interest and intrigue of like, oh, I get to play in a PGA Tour event, that's really cool. It's not beneficial to him. It's beneficial for him to be able to capture content of cool stuff, edit, put out that content, package it how he would like to. And if he's not allowed to do that, I can 100% understand where he's like, well, no, I'm not going to go put a whole week of my life and career into this. Like, I could go whatever. There's other things that I could do, or it just doesn't make sense for me to. And the other thing is like people being like, well, they get to jump over and watch. It's like we know from experience of like, they're not just going to show 24-hour stream of Grant Horvat playing in the event.
No.
They might show a few shots
here
and there, right? So then you're just tracking it on like Shot Tracer online, so then it's like, well, what are you doing? Why? And so I completely get why he was like, no, if I'm not going to be able to film stuff, then of course I'm not going to do it. Like, why would I?
But I just made the argument on the other side. I would love to see him play in the event and see what he shoots.
I know.
Right.
So, like, that's where I'm on both sides of it.
PGA Tour is doing more than they've ever done by just extending him the invite. So it's like they're getting shit on when they're like giving this guy who's a YouTube golfer an exemption to one of their events. And now it's like, well, why aren't you giving him everything? It's like, guys, like we're baby steps here. Like we're giving this guy his dream. It was his dream at one point. He was a collegiate golfer. He tried to do the pro thing. It didn't work out. Turned it over to YouTube, went on with good, did his own thing, unbelievably successful. You can't tell me that him teeing up in a PGA Tour event isn't his dream. So it's like, I see the people that are saying like, people are calling him like all these, different types of things of saying like you're ungrateful or whatever it might be. I don't know necessarily think it's that, but it is a little bit of like, you're forgetting where like the root of what you're doing was. Does everything have to be an AdSense deal? Like
Okay.
every single thing that you do.
But-
Why can't this just be like a week that he just plays in the PGA Tour?
But
It's
the
like
PGA
unbelievable.
The PGA Tour is not coming at it pure of heart. They're not giving it to him because
No.
like we love Grant Horvat and we want.
It's a huge risk on their part, though. They're literally giving him a sponsor's
But
exemption
they are
over
looking
someone
at
else.
it from like people are like, oh, you only do it for the views, Grant Horvat. That's why the PGA Tour is offering him an exemption, is to get that audience.
Yeah.
Like
So,
they're
yeah.
not doing it because they're like, we love him so much, man.
God, what a nice
Like
guy.
a guy off the street, you
Get him
wouldn't
in
just
that
be like,
event.
hey, they're not giving a guy off the street an exemption because they're like, this has been your dream, you've wanted to do this, here you go.
Met
No,
this
but,
guy
like,
at the
because
coffee
he's
shop.
Tour
got a
getting
billion
views and
YouTube
making money
subscribers.
is like what the PGA Tour is. We can't act like that's the first.
That's
like,
what Grant
that's
Horvat's
like,
life is too.
No, I know, but like Grant Horvat knew that when he was like weighing his options on if he wanted to play a PGA Tour. And this has been like months. I mean, he released that Scottie video months ago. He's been kind of alluding to this for a really long time. And it's like at the end to like not get all the things that you want. I could see why it turns some people off.
I'm with you on that. I
Like,
just think
I am torn. Natasha Bedingfield.
Natasha Bedingfield. I'm fully on
I am
board with
too.
that.
I am too.
I mean, some of the comments were funny. It's like other professional leagues that don't let you film YouTube videos while you're doing it. It was like MLB, NFL. It was like every single professional league that doesn't let you like bring
Yeah.
Sky with you to like film while you're playing shots.
Shout out to Sky.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Shout
one of the
out
best
to
in the
Sky.
game.
Love
But like,
Sky.
it is crazy, right? Like, it's a PGA Tour
Yeah.
event. Like, is
But
he
he-
supposed to be on the bag? Like, it's insanity.
But he's an out. But like Riggs alluded to earlier, Grant's an outsider.
I brought up this to you. I'm like, can Jazz Chisholm just like make a YouTube video during a Yankee game?
No, but he signed up with the MLB under the like. He's like, all right, I'm just going to be on TV, and that's my deal. Grant is an outsider to the PGA Tour world.
Not for that week though. He has to have some respect for what they do, right?
But they also
Like
have
if they
to.
brought,
but
like,
that's what
I
he's
follow
saying.
like the Baseball Bat Bros. I think that's their name. I just started following them. Unbelievable YouTube, Instagram account. I think it's the Baseball Bat Bros. Can you look that up?
What do they do?
Anyway, bro, they do like what we do, but they do it for baseball.
Awesome.
And I think it's like the most impressive thing ever. Like that's Baseball Bat Bros. The guy he gets invited to MLB stadiums and he just hits dingers. And like they brought him to fucking
Awesome.
San Francisco and he was hitting balls into the fucking
McCovey Cove?
McCovey Cove.
Yeah.
And he
That's sick.
launches balls. He's a switch hitter, pounds the baseball. Went to San Diego, pounding it off the hotel. So sick, dude.
Cool.
I
That
watch
is
him
cool.
like that is unreal to be a baseball creator and your name is up on the jumbotron. You're getting just fastballs and you're hitting absolute nuke bombs. Imagine they invited him to a baseball game and like you can be on on the Yankees for today. Like,
But
would
the
that
thing is,
be
that's never
insane?
going to happen.
Did you ever think in a million years that a YouTuber would get invited to a PGA Tour
Well, that's
event?
why I think that's the argument too, though, is YouTube golf has so much power now.
But why would that never happen? I don't understand that. Like, why did the PGA?
I think your
Tour
following
happen?
has to get big enough.
Well, and
So
I
then
think
it could happen.
well, I
Yeah.
think
I'd be curious what MLB would say. What he's asking
like,
for.
would they let a guy go out in the left field with him and like film like as he's catching? Like, it's you have to hold like true to the rules of like the league.
To a degree, what Grant is asking for is he's like asking them to change their policies, and that's interesting.
I did see that he like kind of clarified that he wanted someone to like be outside the ropes and film his shots and then release it at a later date. Which, if that's true and they're not letting him do that, that's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
You like, why can't you just like this video is going to come out in a month? Everything that you're capturing at the tournament at the Barracuda will not be affected by what's happening.
People are going to know
but
what
that's
he
not
shot.
the tour's decision, right? That's the broadcasting rights who
Broadcasters,
paid
yeah.
hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're like, no, we own footage of the competition.
Yeah.
And so no one else can use, commercialize, whatever footage, which is why, this is we've been in this exact position on a much smaller scale the whole time we've been doing this, which
Yeah.
is like if we were just fans that went to a PGA Tour event, bought a ticket, and we just posted on our personal accounts footage of like Tiger hitting a stinger on a tee, we could do that. But when you're a media member and you now enter the agreement with the PGA Tour and their broadcasting rules and regulations, you now cannot post footage of the competition, which is owned by the broadcasting partner. So it's very like,
you got to think there's people inside PGA Tour HQ who want him in it and would let
100%.
him film.
I bet all of them.
They
Right.
all, their hands are tied.
Right.
It is funny because they do want to move it forward, and you can tell that. I mean, PGA Tour posted a video yesterday with Drewski. Did you see this?
No.
Drewski is unbelievably hilarious. He does all the auditions. He goes from city to city. If you don't know Drewski, you're living under a
You
rock.
just haven't been on the internet.
No, him and Caleb, they have that show. Unbelievable. They invited him to go do a video with Max Homa, and this came from the PGA Tour account. The first 10 seconds of the video is Drewski driving onto a green and spinning the tires and
Nope.
picking up Max Homa. So I mean, I looked at
Oh.
it with Trent, and I'm like, where have we gotten to that the
Oh.
PGA Tour? I'm trying to wrap my head around what that would be equivalent to. Like someone inviting someone to Yankee Stadium and taking like a shit on like the base or something. I don't know. Like that is like the thing you don't do in golf, right? And then like the PGA Tour is like, hey, this is like what we're gonna do in this video.
Wow.
But like and I still think it's a funny video. Him and Max do a great job. But like it's funny to watch them be so from just like a viewership standpoint, them being sticklers on like a guy filming from outside the ropes.
Yep.
But then like the next tweet was like, Drewski driving across a green, which for historically would like never come from the PGA Tour account.
Right.
So they're trying to like do both. They're trying to appeal to like, oh, like we don't give a shit anymore. We're like loose, we're fun, we're like edgy, we're gonna move it forward. And then it's also like we're also gonna be on our hands and knees for every single person that gives us money. We're not gonna adjust our rules and regulations or our rights agreements at all to move that forward into a new world.
It's also, you gotta imagine they just didn't see it coming. Now I know YouTube golf has been around for a while.
Their like latest deal, because at some point like this has been around for
right.
5,
It's also
6 years.
funny, because they have tweaked the policies for us, for media, right?
Yeah,
like
but,
we're now
very
allowed,
minimal, I guess, like in the grand scheme of things, right? Like,
But
they
they've
still
tweaked it.
own. Yeah, they did.
but like they have tweaked it. They've like made it more friendly for us to go to events. We could put out video footage to a certain number of like total minutes that we just weren't able to get any before. So it's like they haven't tweaked it. The thing that is, to your original point, Frankie, of like they extended this invite as like a bonus thing above what they had ever done before, and now the feedback is like negative somehow.
Yeah.
So
Give me more.
right where it's
People
like,
are
no,
calling
we
him like a
offered
spoiled
something.
brat, and it's like I could see from some standpoint people thinking that. Like,
Sure.
You just got invited to a PGA Tour event, and you're like, no, I want more.
I know.
Veruca, whatever her name is.
Who?
From Willy Wonka.
Veruca Salt? Is that her name?
Who's the one that's like, I want more?
But you almost could right. You could almost like equate it to like an actor being invited into a good movie and then being like, you said no because you're not going to get paid. It's like, well, no,
Yeah.
like, I'm like this is my job. It's like what I do. So it's like, of course, it's really cool for the average person to be in a movie. That
Then
would be
you have
sick.
other people.
but like,
I just watched an interview with someone that was like, I did a movie. He did a Pixar movie, and it was for $0. But he's like, I just wanted my kids to like have that. Like, I put all this work into
Yeah.
it. And he's like, I took no money because like it's such an honor to be in like a Pixar
didn't like
movie.
Jonah Hill do that for Wolf of Wall Street? I
Maybe,
think? I
but
think
like
he
there
took,
are
like,
people
nothing.
that like, and like that resonates with like the viewer as opposed to being like, no, I want like all the, if
Totally, but I do think if like someone's like, oh, this actor got like asked to be in a Martin Scorsese movie, and they're like,
Yeah.
awesome, my fee's $5 million, and then
Yeah.
they were like, no, we're not going to pay you, and they'd be like, well, then I'm not going to do it, and
Yeah.
then they came out being like, isn't that your dream to be in movies? Why, it's
I
sort of like,
respect the move. I don't
Yeah.
want that to go unnoticed. I do respect
It's-
the move because even for people like us, it's like a groundbreaking
I know.
decision. It's going completely viral. How many views did that video get on Grant's second channel, like his actual YouTube video? Did it go crazier on social, or is it just as big on YouTube?
yeah, is that where he put it on his second
Yeah,
YouTube
Grant
channel?
Horvat
'Cause-
2. It's like that
6
guy
million
could
views.
that guy could cut a ham and cheese sandwich without even showing himself. Just a picture of a video of a plate of him cutting a ham and cheese sandwich. It would get more views than us in an hour. 152,000. So it went way crazier on social.
Yeah, it went everywhere on social.
Everywhere.
Like, I saw like
everyone
Golf
was talking
Digest
about it.
posted like a breaking, like Tiger just like was
does-
entering the tournament this week.
It honestly shows the type of
Saw
power
Kirk
that
getting
he.
involved too. Kirk had some.
Oh, did he?
Kirk had some quote tweets. It was making me laugh so hard.
It took over the internet for sure.
Uh.
It's yeah. The whole thing is very interesting, and it's interesting, I think, because we're so torn
Yes.
Natasha Bedingfield.
Yeah. Torn.
because it could go either way.
Other news in the world of golf. Joel Dahmen and Geno Bonnalie have split up.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Yeah, very. This program is very close with Joel Dahmen. Love Geno as well. They became one of the more famous duos in the world of golf through Netflix and Full Swing and all of that. So it's tough, but I think I think Joel, his original quote was like, "Yes, it's it was time. We had a great run," I think was his original quote. And then he posted a whole thing on Instagram saying like, we'll absolutely still be the best of friends, which I think is always hard for people to like really, I don't want to say believe, but like digest. A breakup's a breakup. It happens in golf all the time. Still very sad to see in general.
Great duo, man. And
Yeah.
obviously rose to fame with Netflix, like you said. And you just really respected that duo. You respected the way that that Joel played for Geno's like life and well-being. Like that weighed heavily on him, and it affected him at times. It affected his play. Like all of that weight. That's how close they are. Is that like the weight of Geno's life and his financials and his family and paying for his house and all that stuff. Like that affected the way that Joel played.
Dude,
And
that
it's
one
something that he had to
episode,
go over.
they set the whole thing up as like the whole team being like, everyone's kind of pulling their weight at times except the top guy.
Yeah,
it was
right.
like how they painted it was insane.
that
But
was
you're
insane.
like, that is a heavy load for Joel to carry, for anybody to carry. But it was also so cool that they're so open and honest and transparent, and Joel letting people like Joel even allowing the entire, capturing of footage to lead to that kind of storyline is why Joel's the best, of like him just being an honest, awesome, open, normal guy who happens to be awesome at golf. And he is, if there's anyone that could just like win a major that at this point that would like mean the most for like me, it would probably be like Joel Dahmen. It's just like he's such a good dude. And so for him, as to break up is, again, just insanely sad. I get it. It all happens. I mean, we were talking about in the car ride on the way down yesterday, where it's like, it's funny, you don't see, you never really see when a player's playing really well, a caddy breakup.
Yeah.
It's always sort of when they're, like Max Homa this year, Colin this
I
year.
can picture how those conversations go. Where it's like, dude, it's almost the caddy bringing it up to him, being like, I gotta go, or the players like, I'm holding you back.
Yeah.
Like I'm holding you back. Like you go.
Yeah.
Like I feel bad. Like I got all this.
Kiz
I got
and Dewey.
the money. I got Kiz and Dewey for sure. Even Tiger and Joey LaCava.
Yeah.
Whereas, like at some point, it's like, dude, go with the human ATM machine. Patrick can't. Like,
right.
Like I Tiger Woods, I'm not playing enough to provide for you, which is crazy.
Right.
Now I'm sure I know Tiger was always taking care of Joey even when he wasn't playing, but like,
which is nice.
Yeah, but there's those
All
situations.
class out of Mr. Woods.
Yeah, all class. Yeah, I think the more you follow golf, the more you just become accustomed to these things happening. Like you would think, oh wow, Joe and Max are going to be together forever. Oh, Joel and Gino are going to be together forever. That's just not how it goes. Phil and Bones, it's just not how it goes.
No, it's not.
But they break
Tiger
up.
and Stevie, even that was crazy. And then you're like Tiger and Joey forever, and now he's got Lance Bennett on there. Lance Bennett, by the way, really nice guy, very active on social. I see him liking stuff all the time. He DMs me occasionally.
Wow, he's with someone else now. Though.
Yeah, he was caddying for who was he caddying for recently? Was it Colin maybe? God, I can't remember. He was caddying for somebody recently that I saw that was a pretty big name, which I was happy to see him out there. But you do
like the one right now, Rory and Harry. Like that would be a crazy one.
Crazy. But even he went from, I can't remember who he had forever, the older guy.
Oh.
Who was a very accomplished caddy.
Yeah.
Back when he was wearing the Jumaraya stuff.
I can't think of it.
But yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it does.
It happens.
It's sad, man. It's very sad to see. But I completely understand. I completely get it.
The weather's good right now.
Yeah.
Right now, you like this weather?
Great golf weather.
Just like not that windy. I think we're gonna get like a pretty sick Cypress day. I just really wish I could hit. I really hope I could hit a golf ball.
How you feeling?
Horrible.
Okay.
But I'm gonna take an Advil and I'm gonna have Brendan Jones or someone put an icy hot on my shoulder.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
I have a nice like patch that someone's gonna slap right on my bare skin.
That's nice.
I did that when we were in Monterey. I changed your bandage on your back.
You did when I had the skin cancer removal.
Yeah, remember we were like,
that's so weird.
We were like,
here.
That was here. We were
in
at
a
the
private
Spanish
room.
Bay.
We're in our bedroom.
Yeah, because we shared a
my
room, and we
tits
were
out
like,
and everything.
we're like this. Yeah, like this podcast has really grown up together.
Yeah,
we're like having kids. I'm changing your bandage in the,
my
in the
skin
bathroom.
cancer tag removal.
I was like, is that good? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You put a little ointment on it.
Yeah, man. I'm here. We're looking out for each other.
So then today it'll be icy hot.
Listen. I've done it before.
I think icy hot's supposed to work. I don't know.
I think icy hot's great.
See.
Last thing on my list, Wyndham Clark's been banned from Oakmont.
Is that real?
This is posted by Golf Digest.
All right, so that's real.
For real?
Dude, they want him to go to like therapy.
Wyndham Clark's.
This
is the headline from Golf Digest. Wyndham Clark's former employer Dan Rapport. As are we. Wyndham Clark's suspension from Oakmont can be reinstated contingent upon full repayment of damages, making a meaningful contribution to a charity of the club's choice, and completing counseling and/or anger management sessions.
I think I'm on board with them, with him paying for everything. Like that's something he should have done.
Yep.
Like I think if he had maybe offered that originally, maybe he did. I don't know the ins and outs of it. Then maybe they're not suggesting that he goes to anger management classes. But if that's true, that's very funny.
And I think and it's coming back in like 2033 or something like that.
2030. So he's got he doesn't have he's got a little bit of a window.
8 years, 7, 8 years.
But he probably needs to get moving on
Imagine
this.
they just like he
But
doesn't
wait,
do any of this
but
and they're
wait,
like,
if
you're
he
not.
qualifies for that U.S. Open,
Yeah,
can they stop him from
I
going?
wonder.
He probably the way I took that is he just can't go play there.
Yeah.
But if you qualify for the tournament, it's
I
like
don't know, man.
that might be a legal case.
I don't know, man. That would be. I mean, I think you just got to go to those classes before that.
I guess
Where
so.
do you think we are physically right now at the Cypress clubhouse? Are we above like a bunch of important people right now?
I hear a
They're-
conversation. You
they're
hear that chatter going on?
congregating for this. Like, I saw like the chairman of the whole place was here. He had a nice jacket on that looks like Augusta, but it's dark navy. Got the Cypress logo on it. He was what I think was right below us.
Wow.
I mean, listen, the chances of us getting out of here unscathed and like unbanned
I know,
is
I know.
really low.
I know it's just something I had to bring up.
No, you're
'Cause
right.
I think we're probably echoing. We're at the highest point.
We could be
on a-
being heard.
100.
We're being
Bro, you
eavesdropped
know when we're
upon.
like at
Wouldn't be
when we're
surprised
at
if the
Pebble.
first tee was like right
Remember when
here.
I think it is, dude. Remember when we're at Pebble and like we're talking, or like Lurch was talking on the patio?
Yeah.
And someone said they could hear him.
It was like
from
I was trying to
Spanish
take
Bay.
a nap from 80 feet down.
Spanish, dude. I remember when Lurch was my roommate in New York, and we lived in like the 20th floor of some high-rise thing, and people would get off the elevator. You had to go make a right, go all the way down a hallway, make another right, and then go through one of those giant, like, heavy steel doors. And people would be like, before my elevator door opened, I could hear every word Lurch was saying. And it was just him and I sitting on the couch talking.
Oh,
about
yeah.
God knows what.
If he were
A chick
here,
on Instagram or something.
if he were here, we would be in handcuffs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, boys, we're about to go have an incredible
we gotta
day.
get out there,
Please
yeah.
stick around for these interviews with Ben Kimball from the USGA, who is incredibly involved with the setup, everything that goes on inside the ropes of the US Amateur and the Walker Cup, and then Nathan Smith, who is the captain of the Walker Cup United States team. This is really good stuff, really good insight. So stick around for these interviews. Enjoy the Open Championship. We'll be back Sunday night / Monday morning for kind of a knee-jerk reaction to the Open at Port Rush. Can't wait for it. And we'll talk to you then. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit hard.
Golf is hard, but protein is easy with one Hershey's double chocolate made with 18 grams of protein and only 1 gram of sugar to deliciously fuel your golf game. One Hershey's double chocolate is made with Hershey's cocoa, not cocoa, and it is the only one, by the way. These are amazing.
Dude, I've been throwing these in my backpack for when I travel and fly,
Mhm.
and I'll be sitting on a plane like I'm starving, and it's that weird in between time, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got
One
those
bar.
in my bag. Boom, eat one, and you're good to go for the rest of the
We
day.
got a tweet, all three of us. It was like, I've been listening to these one bar reads for a long time, and obviously the peanut butter lovers one. Everyone loves peanut butter. He goes, this double chocolate one is different.
Oh,
He went out, he got it, and it is like legitimately unbelievable how good that tastes.
it really does.
It's a Hershey's chocolate bar that's 18
Has
grams
1
of
gram
protein,
of sugar.
1 gram of sugar.
Oh, they are phenomenal. Protein just got delicious. You can also try One's other delicious flavors. They've got the One Reese's Peanut Butter Lovers, One Hershey's Cookies and Cream, and their iconic One Maple Glazed Donut and One Birthday Cake flavors. But make sure you buy the new One Hershey's Double Chocolate Protein Bar on Amazon. Protein just got delicious. This episode is brought to you by Brex. Brex is amazing, man. It's amazing. I don't need the talking points. We're on a trip right now. You can expense things. You need to expense things. This is what it costs to make this engine, this operation run, to keep us cooking. And it can be quite annoying to file expense reports. Some competitors that we've used in the past, we've talked about on the show before, but it would take so much time. You just wouldn't even do it. Be like, you know what? My time, I'm gonna spend $450 over that 2-week period to just not do it because it's that annoying. Brex makes it so easy that you want to do it. You can't. It's almost satisfying. It's like watching a satisfying video on TikTok when you fill out Brex because it's that efficient.
We got dinner last night. Brennan Jones paid for it. I watched him take a picture of the receipt, and I was like, make sure you use Brex. He's like, I'm already doing it. You just do it immediately. That's the thing about it. You can do it instantly. It's not like, all right, I'm going to do that later because it's going to take up a lot of time. Take a picture, just do it then, and it's over.
I did the drive up to Boston and back.
Shipping up to Boston?
Yeah, when we went to the Ryder Cup, and it literally mapped it out for you and told you how much you would get per mileage.
There you go.
Oh,
It's crazy, right into your account.
It's so good.
Brex has earned the trust of 30,000 companies from fast-growing AI startups to global enterprises and all the way to here at Barstool Sports. They do corporate card, banking, expenses, travel, all in one place. You can learn more at brex.com/grow. That is brex.com/grow. All right, folks, we are joined by Ben Kimball from the United States Golf Association. We're here at Cypress Point. So if it sounds like we're speaking with a different tone, it's because we are. We're nervously excited to be here. But Ben, tell everybody kind of why we're here.
We're here to talk about the stretch run to the 50th Walker Cup match. You know, in a few short weeks, just after we complete the U.S. Amateur Championship up the street at the Olympic Club, we'll come down here for the 50th edition of the Walker Cup match and celebrate, the best amateurs in the world, facing one another from United States of America and GB&I at one of the greatest venues in all of golf. Excited to be here today. Certainly a momentous occasion.
So Cypress Point, we sort of spoke about it in incredible amateur, almost elementary status, I would say, on the last podcast.
Yeah.
Just, it's for guys like us from Missouri, from Iowa, Frankie, Long Island. It's like we grew up playing public golf. None of us really played competitive golf. You hear about Cypress as sort of this, almost like the house up on the hill that's not really real. It's not obtainable. It's in the rankings. You see a few pictures, but outside of that, you don't see much. Be here in the clubhouse, even for 10 or 15 minutes that we've been here, you can feel it. You can feel the history. You can feel the prestige, the pedigree of this place. For you guys to bring an event like the Walker Cup here, what is that process like to even have a place like this open its doors for you guys?
It's really special. I mean, obviously, we had a previous Walker Cup here in 1981. To be able to return with open arms is quite spectacular. It's important to the players that are selected for both these teams to play at a spot that will forever be etched in their memory banks, win or lose. At the end of the day, I think both teams want to win, but I think the players, most of what we hear is, I played my Walker Cup match at, St. Andrews. I played my Walker Cup match at, La Hinch. That's where we'll be in 2026. To be able to say Cypress Point, I mean, you get goosebumps just mentioning that term. I think we're all very, very fortunate to be in the seats that we are in today to be able to watch this firsthand. I was 2 years old when the 1981 Walker Cup match was played, and this is something certainly our staff and I think the whole world is going to say this may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see Cypress Point on full display, and it's just going to be a remarkable match.
So, the RNA was able to host it at St. Andrews a few years ago. The United States came back, I believe, 4 consecutive wins there. Is this like when you guys hosted Cypress? Is that like, do you guys feel like that's you answering, being like, well, if you guys are going to host at St. Andrews, like we'll host at Cypress now?
Well, I think we look at all, the USGA looks at all of our championships and says, it's important to any of our champions, right, where they win their major, whether it's a women's mid-amateur championship, whether it's the U.S. Girls Junior being played at Atlanta Athletic Club right now. It's important to these players where they win. And, for this team, both whether it's USA or GB&I, to say, hey, we won our match. We beat the Americans. We beat GB&I at Cypress Point. I mean, it's, I think we all know it's top 5 in the world. It's really, really special. But this match has grown so much from, the 50 editions prior to what it is today. Why not celebrate it on the world's greatest venues?
So I'm extremely fortunate enough to have been here a few times before. Trent, this is your first time on property.
Yeah.
Talking a lot about the prestige and all that. What are your feelings?
I mean, I'm very nervous. I'm very excited. Again, like Rick said, you hear about this place as a golfer growing up, and I had sort of, even with the golf podcast, and we've been very lucky to play a lot of cool places. I just sort of resigned myself to the fact that I would never play Cypress Point just because it's that type of place. So yeah, for you guys to have us out here to play during this media day, I'm very nervous. I want to get over the hedges on one. That's like my biggest goal of the day. But I was wondering, how long in the process, like, were you guys talking to Cypress Point? Like, when does that start to happen, and how long have you guys had your eye on this place for the Walker Cup to come here this year?
Well, you look at Los Angeles Country Club, you look at Seminole, you look at here, Bandon Dunes in 28. We're going to Oakmont. I mean, there's some of the world's greatest venues, certainly the greatest venues in our country. It's not easy to host something like this.
Right.
The disruption that is caused by, the build, the amount of time that the golf course is closed, the interruption to the membership. It's a full-on commitment, not only by the president, board of directors, the membership to embrace something like this. But it has been a number of years. I've been coming here since probably been 2021, just after COVID. Getting familiar with the property, getting familiar with the golf course superintendent, and how we intend to showcase the golf course itself for the match. But quite honestly, I don't have to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Alistair McKenzie did the heavy lifting.
Certainly.
He did all the hard work. So when you talk about a match play event, risk reward, and all those things, just walk around the golf course today. You will see it in your experience. It's already there. Though we are the ones conducting the match this year because it's in the United States, the USGA is not going to get overly involved in making Cypress any more than what Cypress truly is. It's just going to play as is and let the players be, the ones to watch. It's a pretty straightforward venue for us in that regard. Instead of us having to generate the setup, Cypress is going to tell us what the setup actually is.
It is interesting. So to educate kind of the listeners, you are the inside the ropes guy for the Amateur of the Walker Cup. This place, there's been so much talk about distance, about the rollback, about bringing, old school venues back into kind of eligibility for big events. I believe Cypress is 6,600 yards from the back tees or so.
Yep.
I know you kind of just mentioned it with the brilliance of Alistair McKenzie and the design that it can kind of defend itself. But what can you guys do when it comes to this venue with setup to challenge? I know it's amateurs, but those guys are, if you go look back at the pedigree of the Walker Cup teams over the last 10, 15 years, it's all names that people know. These are some of the best players in the world and will be some of the best players in the world. What can you guys do to kind of really challenge them more so than just on a normal day out here?
I think, first and foremost, I would say create some nerves.
Yeah.
And how do we go about doing that? And, in our Outside the Ropes team will do a great job in creating an environment that'll make them feel that they're really at something special. The venue will do a lot of that lift.
They're standing right there.
Yeah.
That's why you just said that.
Exactly. The venue itself will do a lot of the lift, but I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this or not. We're actually partnering with Monterey Peninsula Country Club and utilizing their Point Joe practice area as the warm-up space for the Walker Cup match, because we'll have a trophy club tent down the right side of number one. The practice facilities here are a little unique and small, so we're actually going to have players over at the Point Joe range at Monterey Peninsula Country Club. If you've never been there, I highly recommend you drive up there and try and sneak in and get a look. It's probably the most beautiful practice area I've seen anywhere in the world. Faces right out into the Pacific Ocean. But think about that. As a player, whether you're on GB&I or Team USA, you're going to come over from Spanish Bay in a team van. You're going to go to Point Joe, and you're going to be dropped off looking dead at the Pacific Ocean. Flags are flying. You can just feel the crispness of the morning. And then all of a sudden, you got to get in that team van again and come down 17-mile drive, and all you're doing is thinking about getting to Cypress Point and walking up onto that first tee and hitting that tee shot over the hedge, right? And I'm a South Carolina Gamecock, if you can't tell. But I compare it almost to, Clemson football when they enter, the stadium at Death Valley. Their locker rooms are on the far side. They walk out of those locker rooms and have to get on a team bus, and they drive around the stadium to the top of the hill, rub the rock, and then run down the hill. I think that ride from Point Joe on most days, from Point Joe over here to Cypress, is going to build so much energy, nervous energy within them, that is something that we have created as part of this experience that is going to be a factor in all this, besides even hitting a golf shot.
Right.
So you ask the question, what do you do? Well, I think we can start a little bit with nerves, and then I think the rest really falls on the players. It is a little over 6,600 yards. It's what it will play. Their brute strength will take over, but they're going to have to be precise. They're going to have to think through some things. The formatting itself between foursomes and singles will force them to do that. Will the captain allow them to hit and just send it? Or will the captain ask them to play back and play smart? And obviously, where we are in the world here, the wind is the biggest factor.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the things that are going to happen during the Walker Cup match, we're not in control of. Mother Nature is. Alistair McKenzie is. So we're just going to put the tee markers, in cut the holes and let them make the magic.
The greens out here are, again, they're Alistair McKenzie. People are very familiar just from watching the Masters for decades. Any golf fans watching over again. This, in terms of green complexes, it's Augusta kind of in Monterey. What do you guys, green speeds wise, firmness? You think you're going to have them you're going to be able to kind of pick exactly how you want them? Has Mother Nature been cooperating? What do you expect out here from the greens? Because I think, we talked about 6,600 yards or so. The greens are what defends itself. What are those going to look like for the competition?
I think from an average speed on the putting green surfaces, we'll be in kind of, low 12s to mid 12s. We'll probably start in mid to upper 12s.
Pretty
to
high
start
out
the
here.
day. It is high, but that will settle back down. The playing speed will probably be closer to 12 than anything else. But there are several green complexes here that we'll have to treat with extra care. First green is a perfect example. The ninth green is a perfect example. You'll experience that today. We will treat that a little bit differently, meaning we may take a cut out as opposed to double cutting and rolling. It may only be a single cut.
Because they're
and
so
roll.
exposed, those greens?
Because they're exposed, and the slope in those greens is quite tremendous. Now, do the players feel that? They're not going to. They're not going to be able to tell that we took a cut off, but in order to retain all of the great McKenzie hole locations out there, we're going to have to be thoughtful as we go around. There may be a few other greens that we'll be mindful of in that regard, but every single morning as a part of what I do, I have to look at the weather report. We have an on-site meteorologist. We got to know what the wind is going to do.
Is your on-site meteorologist better than a normal meteorologist?
Well, we had one. We hosted the Corn Ferry event. We had one.
That's right.
And he acted like he was more attuned to than the regular meteorologist, but I couldn't tell.
What did he had a stick he put in the ground?
Yeah, he
Remember,
did.
He had some stick that he kept putting in the ground, and he was giving. You remember that, Jonesy? And he was giving us some sort of reading.
Yeah,
we were like, "That's our guy. Hire that guy."
Yeah,
sure. I would say this in terms of wind and thunderstorms, which we're not going to have here in September, they're spot on. In terms of fog, nobody can predict what the marine layer is going to do and the impact that could potentially have. And that is a factor in this Walker Cup match. If the marine layer comes in, the air is thicker, drippier, the golf ball's not going to fly as far. So the captains and the team managers are going to have to be on their game to make sure that they keep the teams kind of informed on what's evolving around them and make them think.
That's great. It's in September. I was with someone from the Pebble Beach PR team on Sunday, and I said, if you yourself could book a trip out to Pebble Beach any time of the year, he said September is the best month, weather-wise.
I like to hear that.
Yeah, I figured.
But we plan for the unexpected. When we look at the weather forecast, we have to make our setup decisions based upon worst-case scenario so that we don't get burnt. And sometimes, right, you don't get that weather, and you wish that you would have done a little more in that area, but there's only a few people that actually know that. The players don't know that.
right.
It's folks like myself that are like, oh, man, we didn't get that wind, or we could have let that green go a little bit further from a firmness standpoint, but because the meteorologist said that this is a possibility, we have to be thoughtful in how we execute.
Well, Cypress, it's unbelievable to be here. We're about to have just an incredible day. We're going to convey it with as much class as we possibly can on the video when it comes out. I want to talk a little bit now about the US Amateur. My biggest takeaway from yesterday was I can't believe Colton Oast won here. You were a big part of the event when Colton Oast won there. Were you as surprised as I am?
Well, it's funny. Colt and I go way back prior to working for the United States Golf Association. I worked for the American Junior Golf Association, so I've known Colt since he was a young junior in Texas. And, when you really think about it in golf history, it's happened a little bit more on the women's side, but on the men's side, there's not many people that have won 2 USGA championships in the same year. I think of Ryan Moore winning the Amateur Pub Links and obviously the U.S. Amateur, but then Colt Knost in 2007 did the same thing, winning the Amateur Public Links and the U.S. Amateur. So it was a hell of a run. In full disclosure, I've missed 2 U.S. Amateurs since 2005 when I joined the staff, and that was in 07. And that was in 09. I've been at every one besides that, but hell of a win for Colt, beating Michael Thompson, who was playing, I believe, for the University of Alabama at the time, and just fun to see how his career's evolved.
It is funny, Colt Knost. We love to give him as much grief as anybody on earth, but man, I play a good amount of golf with him, and it's hilarious how good that man is at golf. And yeah, so he was texting me, and so I put up a picture of when you were kind of giving your spiel at Olympic in that really cool glass room, and he just responded, was like, really hard to win there, by the way. I was like, yeah, okay, you won the amateur there. I was blown away at how difficult the golf course was. Yesterday when we played, and again, we have a dual series of Olympic and then Cypress video series coming out in the next few weeks, but you said something interesting beforehand that I would really like on record, which is that, you guys kind of grow the rough more so
to have it
now, have it, and then you can perhaps dial it back at the beginning of the tournament. So the condition that we saw it yesterday might be similar to Championship Sunday.
Yeah, well, we knew you guys were coming, so we felt like it was proper to punish you a little bit
personal.
when you were there yesterday.
Clip this and get this out there. I want everyone to understand how difficult it was.
Well, I know the ball flights for these guys. Everything's going to be in the left rough. We'll just juice the left rough.
We don't even know the ball flights.
Oh yeah, unpredictable.
Could be anywhere.
Incredibly unpredictable.
It depends upon venue, right? I mean, San Francisco is a great growing environment. The temperatures don't ever get extremely hot. It's going to grow. The grass is going to grow. They certainly wanted to show, certainly to myself, what is capable by the end of the week, so that we knew how to time when we maybe last top off the rough and what our starting height of cut will be. We're likely going to be around 3 3/4 inches, the week prior to the U.S. Amateur, and we'll probably top it off on Friday when we open player registration back to that 3 3/4. And then we'll save some gas money by probably putting the rough mowers away for the rest of the week. And what the two players at the end of the week will experience will be very much what you guys experienced yesterday, because what's unique about the U.S. Amateur is we all know it's 2 days of stroke play where you're playing against the golf course. And then after that, you're just playing against each other. You're playing against that individual that you've got in your match. In the golf course and how that plays, it matters, but it doesn't matter as much. You just got to beat the individual on the other side there. So if the rough is, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches in
some spots it was yesterday.
I've just got to make a lower score than you, right? There's no par. Par is irrelevant at that point.
Yeah. It was interesting in that Oakmont, it was funny, like every lie at Oakmont was horrific if you were in the rough, I felt like. There were some spots that were quite playable, and then there were some spots that were worse than Oakmont that we were in yesterday. So it was a little bit of a mix, which again, I didn't mind. I thought that overall, over the course of even just 18 holes for us, it came out about even. It was maybe 70% of the time you were screwed, and maybe 30% of the time you're like, all right, I can do something with this, get up there and maybe have a chance to make a par. So it was great. That place, Olympic Club, I know we're obviously talking a ton about Cypress. Olympic Club is very different in a lot of ways with 11,000 members. It's an athletic club first, but I believe 5 U.S. Opens that they've had there, and then U.S. Amateur they're bringing there, a ton of history up there.
Yeah, 5 U.S. Opens. This will be the 3rd U.S. Amateur that they have hosted. Women's Open.
I was there for the Women's Open. It was excellent.
Our Walker Cup captain this year, Nathan Smith, won the inaugural U.S. 4-ball championship there. Siwon Kim won a junior there. It's a remarkable place, but it's kind of funny. We laughed about it the last couple of days there, that they're not known necessarily. They've got great champions, but in their history, they're kind of runner-ups, or those that didn't win are just as popular around that club. You think of Payne Stewart, Lexi Thompson had a tough run down the stretch. Arnold Palmer, Billy Casper overtook, Arnold Palmer there. It's amazing. You don't know necessarily what Olympic Club is going to produce, but it is one heck of a challenge.
Yeah, the young man who you guys had up there, who was the Cal State amateur,
Yes,
who was talking yesterday, was saying that they call it the Olympic, the place where champions go to die, where it's like so many iconic champions have come up just short at Olympic, and you can see why. I mean, it feels like there's all that opportunity late in the back nine.
Yes,
but it's struggled. We started on 16 yesterday, which is the Jim Furyk hole, where he hooked one left and he lost that U.S. Open. And it's like it does feel like there's this opportunity at Olympic. It doesn't on paper. It seemed like. It feels like you can kind of go low and then you're out there, and you just never get quite comfortable out there at any moment.
It's a grind, after a 72 hole, stroke play event, doing that for 4 days in a row at that level, it's truly a grind, with the reverse camber and fairways and just how precise you have to be throughout your round. It just wears on you, mentally and physically. So it'll be, the individual that can, prevail over all those, different challenges that they're going to see during the week is certainly the one that deserves to take home the title, but it is just a grind all the way through.
We've got a guy who's normally on this podcast laid up in a hotel room because he hurt his back yesterday.
You guys might have killed Frankie Borelli yesterday.
I think he's at the chiropractor maybe now. I don't know where he's at.
He booked a last-second Monterey chiropractor to try to play Cypress today.
I'll tell you, though, Olympic Club, it'll be interesting, when the pairings come out for the AM, depending upon where you're teeing off and what time of day, it's going to have a huge impact. Normally you would think if you're going off the first tee, you'd have the best shot of, posting a decent number and making it to match play, but holes 1 through 6 at Olympic Club are brutal, and they normally say, the members will tell you, if you can get through those holes even or one over, you're home free. And you guys probably noticed as you started on the back nine, but you probably saw more of the back nine later in your round. The back nine opens up. It's a little, the fairway contouring is a little bit flatter, but it is a slightly wider Olympic Club than it was, when Colt won there. Or even
trees out, is that right? A lot of trees out.
Some trees have come out, and just the Gil Hans renovation, right? He wanted to make it member friendly, but still retain kind of the championship test within it. So, we will cut the fairways every single day, so the players that, want to have complain about the rough, guys, we cut the fairway every day, you put it in the fairway, you will be rewarded. But they are nice and tight, and, it's going to require absolutely the best. And I will tell you, you win the National Amateur Championship, it forever changes your life. And the reward for winning that is so great these days that we got to make sure that we're identifying who that right person is. Exemptions into the Masters and the U.S. Open and the British Open and other PGA Tour events. You're up in the museum in Liberty Corner, New Jersey. You're forever on the Havemeyer Trophy. Nobody ever forgets. And we take that seriously for all of our championships, and particularly the U.S. Amateur. It'll be a great one.
Yeah, one of my favorites was when you guys took it to Band and Dunes and that battle on the back nine. And I think that what's so cool about these events, especially as amateur, is like taking the best players at that level in the world and being able to have a little bit more freedom with where you guys take them to on the courses is so fun to watch. And like I said, Bandon is a buddy's trip type place generally.
Sure.
And to see it, I know David McClay Kidd was grinding for those years beforehand, getting the course ready and changing bunkers a little bit to test the best amateurs in the world, and then watching it play out like it did with the conditions coming in is so cool. And I think that, you guys are able to take that event. And another thing I would say is, there's a lot of, in golf, in every industry, but in golf, there's so much commercialization of everything that sometimes kind of the integrity of it gets sucked out of it. And I think it's important to remind people that the USGA, you've been there for years and years. A lot of you guys have, like, you guys are putting all of your professional time towards something that really matters in the game. And it might not drive the same commercialization, the same profits, the same revenue as the U.S. Open, but it's like your guys' lives are committed to the U.S. Amateur, to the Walker Cup, to all the different events that the USGA does. And that's really, really cool. It's like for people like us that, again, everybody kind of, I think on the recreational level, has kind of a multifaceted relationship with the game. Yeah, it's like we want to get out there with our buddies at a Muni and listen to music and all that. But also if you step onto the site of a place like Cypress Point, you want to wear the nicest, outfit that you have and look classy and not curse and speak properly and not, like you're happy to conform to that because that's part of the golf history. And so I would just say, I think being around the USGA for the last few days, seeing all of the work that goes in, and I got chills, you describing, how much thought you guys have put into driving them down 17-mile drive, putting them on the range at Monterey Peninsula Country Club. They're going to see those unbelievably intimidating, USGA flags and Walker Cup flags and probably the state California flag and all of those things go into the planning, and then getting them over here on the first tee, covering the hedge. Like, that's golf. That to us is like, that's golf in the way it's been for 150 years. And you guys kind of walking that line of, you're trying to get it out there. You're inviting people like us in here to showcase it, but also holding the line of what it's been for a long time is hard to do. And I think it's cool for people to see that folks like you are putting all that work into it.
Appreciate you saying that. I mean, we've got a remarkable staff and people that put a lot of time and energy into it. We love it. That's why we do it. Requires a lot of, time away from home and travel, but we do it, same as you guys. And I will tell you, looking back at 2020, when the world was in a very different and kind of sad place at the time, the fact that we had the ability to still conduct, the men's and women's open, and certainly our men's and women's amateur championships, there was nothing else on television to watch.
Right.
Bandon was the only thing. And I've had more people come up to me after the fact and said, hey, that Bandon, U.S. Amateur was remarkable. It came at the right time. It showed golf in its purest form, on a landscape that reminds me of, where golf was originated, whether it's, Scotland, the UK, wherever else it may be. And it was an important accomplishment for us to get those 4 events in. I'll tell you a little side story, too. I know you've probably got a record of, consecutive days staying at Pinehurst.
99.
I may own the one at Bandon Dunes because of what was going on. I moved on site about during this time for that Bandon Dunes event. So I was there probably 45 days in a row, just simply to protect, our staff that was coming out, but also protect, my own family coming back and forth across the country.
Right.
So
Sure.
I got to see Bandon Dunes every single day for 45 days. No wind, no fog, wind from the north, wind from the south. It properly gave me the opportunity as the championship director to understand kind of that landscape. So it's funny what we all sacrifice for the good of the game to, share this unique opportunity that all of us have to, showcase golf in its, purest form to the world. So thank you guys certainly for the opportunity and the platform to continue to tell the story of the USGA through the US Amateur and through the USGA and the RNA for the Walker Cup match.
No, of course. So in terms of the 2 events, plugging it, what's best for folks to get tickets, for folks to be able to view it? Where should people go? And now that they're going to be all hyped up, we've been talking about it for 45 minutes or so, where can they go to watch, to view, to,
For the U.S. Amateur, you can go directly to usga.org or usamateur.com. Tickets are on sale for the U.S. Amateur there. I believe it's a $30 or $35 any day, and
what a
a
deal.
That's so
$150 for 5 tickets to come to any of the the match play rounds, which is really one of the most unique experiences in golf, because there really aren't any rope lines. There's rope lines around tees and greens, but you can truly walk in the fairways at Olympic. You guys know they're all uneven lines, but you can walk in the fairway
Get your
with
hiking boots out.
Exactly, with the world's best, amateur players, and hear their thought process. So listen to the conversation between the caddies. You don't get to do that anywhere else in golf, except at USGA Amateur Championships, and we're extremely proud of that. And in terms of the Walker Cup, a very unique venue here, not an easy property necessarily to have tens of thousands of spectators on the property. It's a smaller attendance group. The demand was so high for tickets to this Walker Cup match, so we had a lottery system for people to get tickets to come, and that process has now ended, and we'll have somewhere between 45 and 5,000 people here a day on the grounds. And kudos to the lucky winners of the lottery tickets that get the opportunity to come to Cypress Point. It's really cool.
That is
amazing. Well, thank you. Like I said, it's awesome the work that you guys put in, and the USGA, and for us to be here is very special for us. So we're gonna, like I said, try to convey that as well on YouTube and through our clips. But keep up the great work, and good luck with the championships.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Ben. Get the greatest in golf gaming for a limited time only. Get 33% off Standard and Legend Edition PGA Tour 2K25 on PlayStation and 25% off the Deluxe Edition on Steam. This game is phenomenal.
Really is. It's just getting better. The newest rendition of the game that was an update is these challenges and the challenges map, and I have been loving them. It's so much fun. So basically, we worked with them. They have these challenges. It's like, all right, like go 3 under at the Charles Schwab or the US Open at Oakmont, right? It's like, and they give you like 3 holes or whatever it is. We made a Barstool map. It actually looks like an old school video game map. You go on it, it says Barstool Golf. You click on it, and it brings up all these little, basically stones that you have to walk from. You have to do the first one, you got to get to the second one. The first one's a hole-in-one at Pebble Beach on hole.
Okay.
Hole-in-one at TPC Sawgrass.
Wow.
So, and it's unlimited shots though. So they made it almost like a YouTube video, like a challenge. You get 100 shots. If you don't get it, you go again, and you just keep going. You never have to putt it. You don't have to go out. Just keep ripping
Man, that's
shots,
awesome.
ripping
That
shots.
is
Then
awesome.
I had to do one the other day that was one club challenge at St. Andrews. They give you a 50 degree, and you have to go 2 over or better in 3 holes, 15, 16, and 17. It is
Wow.
so hard. You got to start putting the spin forward and hitting like they have bump and runs. It's
That's awesome.
unbelievable. So the game is getting so good. It's so much fun. There's so many things to do.
This weekend, I've been playing more video games. This weekend, I'm going to try to get involved in a stream
You do
on
it.
2K.
Yeah.
I really want to.
Yeah.
I got my whole setup there in
Yep.
the room, and it's just awesome. Got 2 TVs. I can have the open on and play a little 2K. Buy PGA Tour 2K25 today. Discount based on 2K's SRP. Sony offer ends July 30th, 2025. Steam offer ends July 21st, 2025. Terms apply. All right, folks, now we're joined by a very special guest, Nathan Smith. You're the captain of the United States Walker Cup Team 2025 here at Cypress Point. How, we kind of mentioned it before, but how closely are you going to be watching our performances today?
Well, I told you everybody's a suspect
Okay.
for the Walker Cup. I'm going to be collecting your cards after today. I'm going to look up your gin numbers,
Mhm.
and
Is it a net event?
no, that'll be the Monday after. But no, that won't be. But you know
Darn
what?
it.
Half of it's all in a shot, so we could put you with a college guy that hits at 400 yards. You wouldn't
Short
believe how
game.
everything.
See, I'm a short game
Opens
wizard.
You
up.
are. He actually is a short game wizard.
Yeah.
He
That's
could have
so-
a real chance.
That's what,
So put like 9 wedges in your bag, and you can play with.
that's
you
what
know,
I'm saying.
Somebody hits off
That's
the tee. That'd
US,
be perfect.
USGA champion.
Yeah.
Colt Nose said to me one time. He said, "Riggs,
Yeah.
if you could actually hit the golf ball, you'd be really good." And he's right.
Yeah,
So you know, we're a couple months out from the event now. We're here at Cypress, and we spoke with Ben quite a bit about the golf course, and it's as old school
Mhm.
as you can have. It's been pretty similar to how it is now
Sure.
since it was built. How much are you kind of factoring that in, that this is not it's not long, super narrow fairways, wildly thick rough. It's sort of a little bit more open. It's
Sure.
you know, you can send it if you want and
Sure.
try to make a lot of birdies. How much does the style of this golf course factor in?
Well, I think it's incredible. First of all, I think there's such a mystique with Cypress. They had the 81 Walker Cup here, so a lot of people haven't had a chance to be here beyond. I know they had a clam bake here back in the day too, so a lot of people haven't seen the club or the course, and could be 30 or 40 some years. And I think to your point, what you originally see is 15, 16, 17. You originally think of 16, the greatest par 3 in the world, and the most beautiful stretch, 15, 16, 17. But Cypress is made for match play. The holes on the front, 5 through 9, are incredible risk reward. I don't think any lead's going to be safe. I think even 18 is going to be an exciting hole.
So is it 5 and 6 are the back-to-back par 5s?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then is it 8 and 9 are kind of drivable? par
8 and
4s?
9 could be. I mean, if you're down and want to take a run at 8, but I think 9 is going to be an incredible hole, and there's going to be some fun pins there. So I just think before you even get to 15's an incredible par 3, 17's beautiful par 4.
15
on the
might be
ocean.
the most underrated par 3 on
15
the
is
planet.
incredible, and it's so much fun. And the pins, I just think people are going to see so much excitement. I think it's going to be one of the most beautiful, exciting Walker Cups of all time, because I think no lead's going to be safe. You're going to see a lot of birdies. You're going to see a lot of others. It's going to be fun.
So for this event, with kind of the United States having quite a bit of a run here, in the event? You feeling a lot of pressure to kind of hold the line here?
Well, sure. I mean, it's your team. You want to do the best you can, but every team's different. Nobody's everybody's going after, the same goal. I mean, the teams change. And what's amazing, if we won the last, how many, all those matches were close. And I think they're going to have an incredible team. They play with a lot of heart, a lot of passion. They play great in alternate shot. We're going to have to be ready. It's going to be tough.
I know, we kind of spoke about this with Keegan Bradley last week. You guys did, but you have any motivational lineup? Anything motivationally coming in to fire these guys up?
Well, I didn't talk to you yet that you're going to motivate them. I mean, we didn't talk. I thought we kind of had this.
Got the
We'll
motivational
have to discuss this.
Do you have the dance cart? Do you have anything going on?
I think our guy would be Frankie that could give a good motivational speech.
It would, it might last a little too long where you gotta cut him off at some point. But like the first 5 minutes would be.
You start playing like at the Oscars. You got to start.
We could do like
Frankie
multiple days. I mean, we could do like half a dinner one night, half another. But no, I was going to talk to you guys and see who you recommend. I thought that you guys would come up with something.
We did talk with Ben about nerves and how they're trying to create an environment, an atmosphere where it's like, oh wow, this is really something. What do you do to try to mitigate some of that and like just kind of get guys into the zone?
Well, to your point though, there will be. I think Cypress is going to bring out almost all the alumni of Walker Cups, and it's a who's who list. So I'm sure we will have guys that come into the team room, talk to the guys, to your point, after you guys speak, of course. And I think playing on 3 teams, I think at least the flow of the week, how it works with dinners. Anytime you get into Walker Cups or Ryder Cups, the days get a little longer and the mornings get earlier. So you want to just make sure the guys are rested, be in their comfort zone. Put them in situations to succeed. Who do they want to play golf with? What's their routine? Because you have 10 individuals. They're all used to a specific routine. You want to put it inside the framework of a team, but yet you want to make them feel comfortable. So that's one of the biggest challenges as any captain. So
funny, we've had multiple players on this show who said the most nervous they've ever been over a golf shot was at the beginning of a Walker Cup that they played in.
Yeah, sure.
And Colt Nose told a great story about playing with DJ, I believe he said who he played with. And he said DJ seemed fine and cool and was all good. And then, they announced his name. And as they were announcing his name, they said DJ hit the ball like as they're announcing his name. And he came
quick
back
hit
over
it. Quick hit it.
Colt was like, what was that? And DJ was like, I don't know what happened. I got so nervous. I just had to hit the golf ball.
I just did it. It is a feeling. A funny story for me is half of the is alternate shot. So what I would say is, I'll take the even holes. My partner, why don't you take the odd holes? 100%. Tee off the first hole.
Please.
You could ease into it. That's always the veteran play.
Yeah, great player. He deserves it.
But it's a feel. Of course, you had to do it. I did it for a couple, alternate shots and some singles. Yeah. It's a feeling like you don't have. If you're playing for yourself, it's one thing. You screw up, it's on you. You don't want to let your teammates down,
right?
The country down, all the fans, parents, family. There's so much into it, and anytime you can represent yourself in anything for the United States and hear your name, it's chilling. But it's a feeling like you'll never have again, and you just need to enjoy it and embrace it and have fun.
So we love this part of the country, as anybody who came here ever and visited would. We understand at Spanish Bay and the Inn and Pepperly and the tap room and all these. What sort of extracurriculars do you guys have lined up? Like any dinner locations? Is there a special team room spot that you guys got?
Sure, yeah. So I think a lot of it's the teams staying at Spanish Bay. Both teams will be over there. And I think a lot of the USGA is over at the Lodge. So a lot of it will be, every night it seems we do have functions. It's going to be, incredible, throughout the week. And
team probably won't be at Sticks late like we are.
Yeah, I ate there last night, so it's good. Maybe you'll see us there. Maybe that where the motivation, could be. Maybe we'll have
find some inspiration
there.
For
yeah,
sure.
So that's
traps, a little. You can find some motivation.
Yeah, there. Well, hey, that's it. So, but no, the week will be filled with a lot of incredible dinners with who's who of the world. So we can't wait.
So we know for the Ryder Cup, we've talked a lot about that. The home team has quite an advantage with the captain being able to kind of help with course setup and preparation on that. Is it similar here?
It's really not. I would just be honest with you. I think that the USGA and I think Ben, I think they keep that close to the vest with what they're trying to do to,
all class,
to make it fair.
Guys,
all class.
integrity.
I know. I wish I could. You could talk some sense into them if I could get some.
I'll talk to Ben.
Knowledge, but they do an incredible job. They set it up so we don't have any. I wish I did, but it is what it is. So.
Right. Can you drink out of these trophies or these?
You can. Yes, you can. Yes.
That thing looks like it could fit a lot of
A ton.
whatever you want.
There's a lot in
Lemonade.
there for you. There's a lot
Milk.
in there. Both sides have drank a lot out of there, so it's good. I'm
Right.
sure they've kept it in great shape. So.
Right. Great. Well, have you guys done any? Have you done any? Are you trying to like at events get people together?
Team bonding or different things.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I think the nice thing is, and I heard Ben talking too about the U.S. Amateur at the Olympic Club. The nice thing is at the Olympic Club, mid-August, down the road,
Right.
up the road from here. And I think we'll try to do some stuff there and even maybe try to get the team, here for a day right before the USAM, some of the guys that are picked, or even maybe do some dinners there. It's hard because everybody's everywhere through the course of the summer. A lot of guys are
Right.
playing in pro events. Some guys are playing US Junior. Some guys are playing National Amateur event. They're everywhere. So, but it would be nice to get them together a couple weeks before.
Reminds me of Miracle a little bit, where you got people coming from different colleges.
That's
that
right.
Might be
Yeah,
rivals all
that's right. Sure.
throughout their junior
Throw
careers.
that movie
Yeah,
on,
sure.
baby.
Maybe
Yeah.
put Miracle on him and
Yeah.
a little Herb Brooks.
That's right.
Inspiration.
That's right. Get it
RIP.
going.
That's what
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
All right, Nathan. Well, no pressure. I mean, 4 in a row. Is that how many of the U.S. has won? Is that right?
I don't even know. I don't
think
even
it's
like
4
I
in a row.
said, we're just
Jason hasn't checked.
I think
We
I
haven't
saw
checked.
in
I
my
don't know.
extensive research where I
Yeah.
Googled it the other day.
yeah, sure.
I believe that it was 4-ish in a row. If not, we'll just cut that. Or
Well,
change
we're
it.
just trying for this
One in a
one
row.
at a time.
Let's get one in a row.
Everybody's going after the same thing. The slate's clean. It's 0-0.
You've
That's
got
right.
quite the amateur career of your own, and so good luck with the team
Yeah,
and
thank you.
being able to be the captain at a place like this. I feel unbelievably special just being able to sit in this chair at this place. So being the captain here is quite the honor. So congratulations and good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much. And again, biggest honor of my life to be the captain of the Walker Cup, let alone at Cypress Point. It's going to be incredible.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Thank you.